I'd like to call to order the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners Workshop Meeting for January 12, 2022. Roll call.
President Zipfel.
Here.
Vice President Rogers.
Here.
Commissioner Andrus.
Here.
Commissioner Lees.
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Here.
We have a special item tonight. Mr. David Dilks, who is a World War II veteran, is going to be recognized, and a little bit of a surprise, but I'm pretty sure that you will be able to field this request. If you would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for doing that, and thank you for being here. All right, a couple of housekeeping items before we do that. Is there a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lees.
Second.
Second by Vice President Rogers. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda and moving forward with the agenda before you say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Citizens' comments. Are there any citizens' comments on agenda items? All right. Seeing none, we're going to one more housekeeping item. Is there a motion to move into the record the consent item that is listed in the agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Andrus.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Zimmerman. We have one item, and that is the police report of the month of December 2021 to move into the record. And with that, I'll call the question. All in favor of moving that into the record, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Okay, we have our special item for the evening. And that is a recognition of our Hatfield resident and World War II veteran, David Dilks. And I'm going to hand the ball over to Commissioner Zimmerman.
Right. Black and white.
I'm really pleased that we have our special guest with us this evening. I'm just a little disappointed that we don't have a bigger crowd to help us honor him and to thank him. So, Dilks caught my attention when I saw an article in the Reporter last month, and it was about a group of World War II veterans who were going to take a trip to Hawaii, to Pearl Harbor, for the 80th anniversary of the commemoration of the attack on Pearl Harbor, December 7th. So as a historian, of course, that caught my eye. As somebody who has been to Hawaii and didn't get out to the U.S. at Arizona, it also caught my attention. And then on a personal level, his life kind of mirrors, or my late father-in-law's life kind of mirrors his. They were both born in the same year. They both enlisted in the Navy at age 17. And they both served in the Pacific. So I just kind of felt that little connection. And I was real excited when I was able to connect with him. And I found out also, as a bonus, he lives in Ward 3, which I represent. So I was very happy about that as well. So just a little bit about Mr. Dilk and his service. He wasn't at Pearl Harbor on that fateful day on December 7th, 41, but he was chosen with 13 other veterans to attend a trip of honor for the ceremony. And there's this group out of Memphis, Tennessee. It's called the Forever Young Veterans Trip of Honor, and they organized the trip, and they've done this over the years for various places. And it wasn't his first trip of honor, because back in October, he got to go to Washington, D.C. to lay a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And Mr. Dilks was quoted as saying that he believes it's important to honor and remember those who did not return, and this is one of the reasons that he was happy to have the opportunity to travel to Pearl Harbor. So the veterans who attended the 80th anniversary range in age from 94 years old all the way to 99. I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but Mr. Dilks will be 96 in a couple of months. So again, he's a special guy. But he was 15 and he was living in Royersford in the area when Pearl Harbor was attacked. And then at age 17, he enlisted in the Navy in 1944, believing it was his patriotic duty to do so. He had two older brothers who also served, one in the Army, one in the Marines. And he was stationed aboard the U.S. battleship, the USS Battleship Massachusetts, and was sent to the Pacific, including Iwo Jima, Okinawa, and the Philippines, where he saw some fierce combat. After the war, Mr. Dilks was in the Navy Reserves until he was recalled to action during the Korean War. He served until 1955. In civilian life, Mr. Dilks worked in a factory in Oaks for 30 years, rising to the manager during that time. He's been involved in local veterans organizations, including the VFW and the Hatfield American Legion. And he and his wife, Barbara, have lived in the area, have lived in Hatfield for about 14 years. So I'd like to present this proclamation to Mr. Dilks. Are you able to come up? I'll read it. Present this proclamation on behalf of the board and the township, and to thank you for your service to the country. Not that it's a huge room again. Okay, whereas the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners desire to recognize David Dilks, and whereas David Dilks enlisted in the United States Navy in 1944, and whereas David Dilks served the country during World War II, and whereas David Dilks was stationed aboard the USS Battleship Massachusetts, and whereas David Dilks also served in the U.S. Navy Reserves and was recalled to action in the Korean War, and whereas David Dilks served in the United States Navy for 11 years and was discharged in 1955, and whereas David Dilks recently traveled to Honolulu, Hawaii to take part in the 80th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, and whereas David Dilks currently resides in Hatfield, Pennsylvania, and now therefore be it proclaimed, in accordance with the foregoing, that the Board of Commissioners of Hatfield Township does hereby endorse this proclamation as recognition to David Dilks and thanks him for his service to this country. Proclaimed and presented this 12th day of January 2022. I asked Mr. Dilks ahead of time if he wouldn't mind saying a few words to us and on whatever he'd like to, but I specifically said, tell us a little bit about your trip to Hawaii and how was the commemoration, what kind of things did you get to do, and how did that go? And then, of course, anything else that you'd like to pass on, we would be very interested.
Well, first I'd like to thank,
Want to lean on the podium, sir?
first of all, I'd like to thank the commissioners and all the people who are here. And if I wouldn't be here, if it wasn't for my stepdaughter, Amy, and her husband, Joe. They did the paperwork for me. And also, Amy found the person that I had to see to get the trip. Otherwise, now about the trip, the organization, this Forever Young Vets, this is for the senior vets. To go to Pearl Harbor, you had to be a veteran of World War II. And like she said, I was, the youngest was 94. Well, I'm 95, and we were both the youngest ones that went. We had one that was 99, and he was a survivor of Pearl Harbor. There were 9 of us that left from Philadelphia with United Airlines, which to this day I'll praise, because boy, they gave us the king's ride. I'm telling you, everything was first class. We got to Hawaii, and unfortunately it rained for 4 days. The last day when we were leaving, it was nice and sunny and everything. But if you ever go to Hawaii, you've got to go to the Peach Bowl. That is the national cemetery. Most of them in there, well, I think there's 53,000 there now. But most of them are from the Pacific War. That's a lot of guys. It's very, very sentimental. And they have murals in the shrine that depict the war on the Pacific, which is, if you go to Hawaii, you've got to go there. And of course, every time they blow taps, which they did at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, I cry. You can't help it. And also, you've got to eat at Duke's. That's been highly recommended. There are 150 vets at the ceremony. 20 of them were Pearl Harbor survivors. And the rest of us, the Navy treated us, we were kings, all of us, absolutely. Even the people in town, it was a thank you, thank you, thank you, which is probably the same thing. But anyway, I'm not a speaker, as you can tell. That's about it as far as Hawaii goes.
Now, was there?
There was a parade, which unfortunately the group that I was with, the Forever Young group, the ceremony at the parade went on too long, so we couldn't go in the parade. We had to get back to the hotel to get our meal, so we could not get in the parade. It was a big parade, and the ceremony at Pearl Harbor, that was unbelievable. We were well honored there, and we were all treated very, very nice. Unfortunately, the rain hampered a lot of things, but we made out okay. And again, I want to thank everyone here. Thank you again.
I always like to say too, for Pearl Harbor Day, that I never forget, because when I was in college, I had a professor who was actually there. He was on the California.
Oh, okay.
So he survived, and everybody you remember it was real early in the morning when the bombing came, before, I think, 7 o'clock. And he would always tell his students around Pearl Harbor Day his story entitled, "Caught Unaware in My Underwear." And I've never forgotten.
One other thing.
Uh-oh. That triggered a memory.
While I was
Tell the story.
while I was there was a couple things that really happened to me. That I was interviewed by a Japanese historian, and I've always told a story about when the Massachusetts, when we were in an atoll called Ulithi. The fleet was anchored there, and we were watching a movie on the fantail, and this plane came zooming over us, and we're all yelling, "Yeah, we can't hear the movie." Well, boom, into a carrier right next to us. It was a kamikaze. And then on the beach, there was a bomb or an explosion. So anyway, we all went to battle stations. Well, this Japanese historian, when I told him about Ulithi, his eyes lit up. He said, "Would you like to hear the Japanese version?" I said, "I certainly would." Well, the fleet was spotted by a lookout plane from Japan. They got together 23 planes. We were going to do another Pearl Harbor. Because the fleet was anchored there, it was all lit up. Anyway, there was a wicked storm on the way from Japan. Only 3 planes got through. One of the plane crashed into a carrier, and it was a Randolph. That was the plane that flew over our fantail. The other one crashed on the land, and he verified this story that I've told so many times. But it was really, really true, and it happened. But thank you.
Thank you to you and your entire family.
Thank you.
So you can take some solace in the fact that while there's not a lot of people in the room, we are videotaped, and then people watch us on television. So this story will go out to a lot more folks than you realize. It's amazing how many people do. Oh, is that right?
Nice.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Incredible, really is, and it's incredible gentleman, an incredible generation, for sure. There's no doubt. All right, so some boring stuff, the rest of the meeting we have before us, so. All right, let's talk about committee meetings, committee reports. Planning and Zoning Committee, Vice President Rogers.
Thank you. We have a discussion tonight on the amendment to the multifamily elderly zoning district.
Yes, tonight we're seeking an authorization to advertise this ordinance. This ordinance is a housekeeping ordinance. Essentially what it does is it amends the multifamily elderly district code section to remove the following provision. The provision that states that permanent residents can only reside in one unit. We take out that provision, and now the rule is one person in a unit must be 55 or older. No one under 19 may stay for more than 2 weeks in any given year. That's essentially what it is. It's just a housekeeping ordinance. It's not for discussion tonight. It's just for authorization to advertise for February 23rd.
Okay. Should we take a vote, or just, do you need, do
Need
you
a
just need a
motion-
consensus?
a
Okay,
motion to
need a motion to
advertise on
vote.
the
All right,
23rd.
is there a motion to advertise the amendment to the multifamily elderly zoning district?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Lee, second by Commissioner Andrus. Any questions or comments from residents or otherwise, commissioners? All right, hearing none, then I'll call the vote. All in favor of that motion to authorize publication, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. And so what we'll do is we'll publish, and then it'll be up for consideration at our next meeting?
The 23rd, that's correct.
So Tina, that means you're going to have to bump Bob out every 2 weeks for a day to reset his 2 weeks to stay with you, okay?
All right, Vice President Rogers, anything else?
No, that's it tonight. Thank you.
Okay, Public Works Committee, Commissioner Lees.
Okay, we had our first winter storm of the season last week. Despite being very short-handed due to COVID and injuries, our Public Works Department did a great job clearing the roads and keeping the community safe. Committee will be getting together in the coming months to start finalizing the list of roads that will be getting paved in 2022. More to come on that after the committee meets. There is a branch and cardboard drop-off from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. this Saturday at the Public Works Garage located at 2590 Unionville Pike. This is available to all Hatfield residents every third Saturday of the month. That's all I have, sir.
All right, moving on to Park and Recreation Committee, Commissioner Zimmerman.
Some of the contests that we had last month for the holidays. We had a virtual gingerbread house contest, and we had lots of fun and lots of creative entries this year. Congrats to our winners, the Werman and Oberst families. They combined their efforts to create a gingerbread village. Photos are available on the website. Our holiday lights competition. Hatfield was filled with lots of decorations and holiday cheer this year. All of our holiday light contestants did a great job. And our winners, the overall best was 3060 Westbury Lane. The most colorful was 1526 West Lane. Most creative, 1658 Latch String Lane. And most traditional classic, 2879 Denby Drive. Photos of the winning homes and all participating homes are available to view on the website. Get Fit classes. Parks and Rec kicked off 2022 with some fun new fitness classes. There's one called Remix, and then there's still yoga and Zumba. The January sessions have already started, but look for registration for February coming soon. Our Storytime series for January, the featured book is Clifford's Good Deeds by Norman Bridwell. Registration is $5 and includes a storybook and activity kit. Children can read the stories and complete the activity kit individually or do it as a family. Registered participants can pick up their books and kits between January 10th and the 21st, and then they'll email pictures of the family reading and completing the activities to storybook@hatfield.org by the 21st to be included in our January Storytime series. Any registrations for any upcoming events are available on the website at hatfieldrec.com. And that's it.
All right, thank you very much. Public Safety, nothing to report this evening. And we're going to go to our last committee, Finance Committee, Commissioner Andrus.
Yep, I just want to add something to the Public Works. You can drop your Christmas tree off down by the Aquatic Center on the right-hand side if you're looking to get rid of it and have it recycled. Right, so finance report. Not too much to report as it's only 12 days into the new year. However, the audit for Hatfield Township has started for 2021, and and we will be getting a report when it is finalized at some point in the spring. As a reminder, we will all be getting our Hatfield and county tax bills in early February. You'll notice that your tax bill is higher this year. It's because Montgomery County raised its taxes 8% for 2022. Hatfield Township taxes have not been raised, as I've said before, for 8 consecutive years. Any confusion, this can cause some confusion, so when you get your bill, please look at it carefully and understand where your taxes are coming from. Please do your best to do that. If you have any questions about your tax bill, please call our newly elected tax collector, Dan Reevy. His number is 267-663-5236. Dan and his staff will have regular hours every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9 until noon. Available other hours by appointment.
Okay, we're going to jump into our township manager's report. Aaron, doesn't look like a long one, but it's
a good one.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Short but sweet, but I'll do my best to make it a long one with a few slides for everyone.
Oh, good.
So 2 straight meetings, commissioners, that we're here to announce a grant award. Last meeting, we talked about the design for Welshonor Villa for $450,000. Township was just recently awarded $250,000 for the development of Clemens Park. So let's talk about Clemens Park here for a second. I think most people are familiar with the location, but could be some residents new to the town tuning in. So Clemens Park is our 2nd largest park in the township. This is a shot of what it looks like today, and to just give you a history of how the commissioners have done such a good job of expanding our 2nd largest park. This parcel was acquired in 1977. I think Chief just started his patrol position here at the township around that. Then in '06 acquired this piece, 16, which several of our commissioners were on board at that time, our current commissioners, and then 2020, this final 8-acre piece. So now the park is roughly 25 acres compared to what it was 40 years ago, this little piece. Now, thanks to the DCNR, which is Department of Community and Natural Resources, and thanks to our state representative and state senator, the township was awarded this funding to turn what you see now into something like this. So there will be a new entry, no more road going through a massive basin. That will be removed. There'll be a new entrance, some additional parking, a new inclusive playground, so children of all abilities will be able to play with their classmates and friends, and a public bathroom here, some more parking here, and there are also some equipment, a shed, and a few other items for our partner, the Garden of Health, was part of our application. I think our partnership with the nonprofit certainly helped this application to get funding. So I think already that has been beneficial to us. Just as a reminder too, back in 2017, and all of these, the reason I say this is because all these moves over the years put us in this position. In 2016, the commissioners were successful in getting a grant to do a master plan. So we went through a $20,000 process at no expense to the taxpayers to come up with this plan. As you'll see, this is what was developed and proposed then. There's a few minor tweaks to it. But that's when the process began. These things take time. But because we have the partnership, because we went through the master plan process, the folks at DCNR were comfortable with awarding Hatfield exactly the amount of money that we requested. It was as high as was possible. So another feature is then the Garden of Health, and this is the master plan that Garden of Health put together. And they have some ambitious plans, and obviously this will be up to Garden of Health to develop over the years, but they have some great ideas of a greenhouse and gardens and raised beds and nice partnerships that they're already developing with our local high school, with our local middle school, with a lot of corporate partners of volunteers and educational programming, and ultimately everything grown there will go to a family that needs it in our community. So all of it is exciting. We had the plan. A lot of times these plans sit on a shelf and collect dust because the town doesn't have the funding to make it happen, and thankfully we were able to do that. And now in 2022 we get started on the fun part of this, and that's building a nice park that our residents are going to like. So we're excited. I don't know if we're going to get it done in 22. We'll see, but we're going to at least start the process I think tomorrow's our kickoff meeting with DCNR, and then we'll be off and running. So thanks to the commissioners for pursuing this and taking us through all these steps over the years and putting us in this position.
I was here for 3 of those 4 land acquisitions.
Not 77?
I said,
That's exciting. That's great. This has been something that people have thought about and hoped for many years. So to see it come true is exciting.
Thank you.
And then I'm sure people will ask us, okay, how far along it is on a regular basis. So we'll
Yep.
have to keep them up to date.
Yep, I'm sure we'll talk about this a few
Now
more
that our
times.
villa's done, we gotta figure out something new, right?
Absolutely.
Great.
Not gonna get bored.
All right. Anything else? Aaron, anything else?
That's all, Mr. President.
That's it? Oh, okay.
That's it for tonight, yep.
All right, Mr. Solicitor.
I would just add, in 1977, another major event in the township on Cindy Lane, I was born. And Chief
That's been stricken from the records.
was there, and I appreciate that, so. Nothing to report tonight.
I'm not sure that's an acquisition we're going to be bragging about, but we appreciate your filling us in.
1977.
All right, any citizens' comments? They could heckle our solicitor or not. That would be fine. We would encourage that.
I'm feeling pretty old right now.
I'm not, I was 10. I'm good.
All right, I don't see any citizens' comments, and we did have a brief agenda tonight. So I know we'll have very busy agendas coming up, so we might as well enjoy the one that we have. Thanks again to Commissioner Zimmerman for bringing Mr. Dilks in, and we're very pleased that his family brought him in. It was a wonderful addition to the evening. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
By Commissioner Andrus.
Second.
Second by Vice President Rogers. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we're adjourned. Thanks for coming out, folks.